welcome to my stream. It's Tuesday and it's cold out. I live in the northeast of the US and it is very, very cold. Let me see. Let me first transition over to my regular display so I don't forget. And let's see, 7 degrees F to C. Yeah, so it's negative 14 out. That's exciting. Yeah, so before I dive back into the, oops, why did that happen? Before I dive back into the Rust stuff, I figured what we could do is take a look. Togglebit, actually, I don't know if you remember, we hacked a little bit on Togglebit's Twitch search, and then he submitted a PR, which he then integrated into, so let's take a look into his code. So if I look at mine, let's go here. There's Twitch search. There. Okay, and then, yeah, fetch upstream. So we can take a look at what changes he made to integrate, because he made some changes. So we had put an underscore on the game ID because it wasn't used anywhere, so he just pulled it out. That makes sense. Looks like he also got rid of the display name variable. Just put it inline in here. That's cool. What changed here? Oh, I guess it. Oh, he just pulled the brace up. Okay, that's all he did here was pull the brace up to the top, which, to my mind, makes sense, right? But this is what cargo format did, was put it here, so I left it there. And then what happened here? Oh, we had added the println because Clippy complained about a print bang with a new line at the end of it. And say, why not just make it a println? And so he just put it back. Okay, that's fair. Remove game ID. And then he changed the proxy stuff. So what did we do? We grabbed the proxy from the environment and then generated an agent from this, or generated an agent from this without the proxy. So he's got let envarp HTTPS proxy OK, and then generate a proxy from that. And then down here he says if let some proxy use proxy, then we say agent equals agent.proxy proxy. And then we build the agent here. Okay, so I think I understand what's going on here. We don't have this nested construction here. We can just we can grab. So the OK on a result returns some or none, I believe. Rust result OK. Right, if we take a look at the OK function down here, yeah, it returns option T, right? So if T is not set, instead it's an E, and discards the error, right? Consumes self and discards the error, and we can take a look at the source real quick. It should be really simple, yeah. So if it's okay, it returns a sum. If it's an error, it returns none. So it's a very simple way of pulling out the struct, and then we can say and then. So if it's a sum instead of a none, we can then use it to generate the proxy and then set the proxy variable. So that all happens inline instead of this pyramid scheme here. And then if the proxy is set, if it's a sum, then we just set the agent, the proxy on the agent there, and then build it. Okay. And then he commented that. Oh, okay. Not sure what I changed. I don't think I changed this, unless maybe cargo format changed that. And then he added a new function called exclusions, which maps on an option of vex strings. Where are we calling that? Here, args.exclude. Oh, okay. So okay, this just moved from here up to here, and just generates it in line here rather than putting it in main. We just call a separate function, which would then also get the Twitch ignore stuff. If let OK, so that's all the same. Oh, and then he did an extend on a map of the string instead of looping over it. Okay, I like that I like that better. I may have tried that on stream and failed. I don't remember. And then what did he change here? So he's mapping. It's kind of hard to read. Okay, so found plus equals entries dot map print dot count. Right, so all of this goes away. We do go through the filter. And then if page is none, we break. Otherwise, we'll come back and read the next page. Where's the page? Oh, we don't see the loop. Let's see the loop. Here it is. Fetch page. Yep. Okay, and then we're done. Okay. So that's pretty good. Let's I don't want to create a pull request. I want to merge. I want to fetch upstream. There we go. Fetch and merge. Successfully fetched and fast forwarded from upstream toggle byte master. So now we should be able to pull it here, right? And we have all of his changes. Now Clippy's going to complain because of those two changes he undid. Oh, 3. Print with a format string that ends in a single new line, right? That's the one. Oh, okay, that's just one. And then, what's this? Replace the closure with the function itself. Print. Does that work? Yeah, it works. Oh, Mr. Glitchbyte streaming. Intro to POC scripting and Rust. To me, POC stands for proof of concept, so this must be something else because that doesn't make sense in that context. Okay, cool. So we have that. Now we have another change to make, but I'm not going to give Togglebyte a toggle bit more work to do. This works fine, and I'm going to switch because I don't like Clippy errors. Oops, I didn't want to run it. I wanted to edit it. What can we do to make this cleaner? I mean, he clearly likes this, and if I do this, that's a little bit cleaner, and Clippy won't warn about it. Right? Yeah, this is clean now. Okay, so we'll just leave it like this and just clean up Clippy warnings. And we'll just keep it local instead. All right, so we have our own Twitch search. So let's dive into the changes we were making yesterday. We were oops, didn't mean to do that. We were converting all of our spawner stuff into file-driven. Here we are. Adding the rest of the consumables. So we have a bunch of consumables that we're just going to transfer over from our code into this spawns.json file. It's under raws, right? Spawns.json. Okay, so we have a bunch of items. So I don't want to do a whole bunch of typing, but I think that's what's going to end up happening, right? Yeah, so in JSON you can't have a trailing comma like you can in Rust, so that's a little frustrating. Do I just copy paste this? Because this is not code, this is just a file. So let's just copy paste. And then get rid of all these extra things. Oh, how do I format on, yeah, this is, oops. I don't need a ... in there. Okay, let's just shift everything over and shift everything back. I think that will correctly format. I mean, I think that is correctly formatted. Okay, so we'll put their effects into rawmasters rs spawn named item function. Right. So let's save that. Raw master. And we're going to go to the spawn named item. Okay. So we have provides healing, we have range, and we have damage. So we just need to add all the others. So we have area of effect. There's going to be EB with area of effect, radius, effect.1.parse, I32. Unwrap. There has to be a better way to do this, right? In fact, I'm going to just make a quick helper function to I32, and we'll take in a stir and return I32, and all this is going to do is say s.parse I32 dot unwrap. Okay, and then we can just say str to I32 effect.1 and see if that checks. Oh, this won't check because I didn't finish this, right? So this will be stir to I32 effect. Oops. Like that. And then what else is an area effect? That's it. Okay. So we close that. We hit a comma. And it doesn't like that. Oh. No, that's right. Attempt to take value of method parse on type stir. Oh, you can't do it this way? Does it have to be a string? Okay, field expressions can have generic arguments. All I'm doing is this. What am I doing wrong? I'm just trying to make a little helper function that allows us to... Does it tell us what we can do? Try conversion method to string. Yeah, but that's not going to help, right? Because if this doesn't parse, field expressions cannot have generic arguments. Hello, Kafka. Maybe you can help me with the thing. I'm just trying to make a little helper function so I don't have to write this all the time. And I'm doing it wrong. I tried this, and this doesn't work. Attempted to take value method parse on stir. It's a method, not a field. Oh, I have to call it here. That's what I'm doing wrong. Ah, there we go. Okay. Easy. Stir to I32. And I hit F1 again. So do that. Stir to I32. Okay, so that's that one, the area of effect, and we have confusion. And what is this doing? It's just a turns. Okay. EB, because EB with confusion. Let's take turns of stir to I32 effect 1. Actually, can I? Oh, I can't. I was going to say, well, maybe I can implement a trait, but I can't implement a trait unless it's a my own type, right? I was saying, well, what if I said, you know, can I say impl from stir for I32, but I don't think I can do that because I don't own stir or I32. Yeah, I32 is not defined in the current crate and stir is not defined in the current crate. So I can't implement my own from. I was hoping to be able to say effect.1.into. Okay, well, we did confusion. Now we have magic mapping. Magic mapping is easy. It doesn't take anything. One of these days I'm going to fix my G key. EB. It's EB with magic mapper. And then finally we have food, which is EB dot EB, there we go, with provides food. I thought food had a certain amount of healing associated with it. And it took away the cargo format, took away my braces. Okay. And then we still have the warning consumable effect not implemented. Okay, you can now delete fireball, magic mapping, and confusion scrolls from spawner. Okay, let's do that. Here it is. Fireball, confusion, and magic mapping. Ooh, yeah, but we can't. As soon as I deleted that, I realized that I am actually using the magic mapping scroll in my main in order to give myself a magic mapping scroll at the beginning of the game. So I'm going to leave this one in. Okay. And then we're going to add the remaining items. We'll make a few more JSON entries in spawns.json to cover the various other items that we already have. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to copy this. Actually, let me see if this checks. We do have 2 warnings. Let's see what the warnings are. Function number, I thought okay. Now I'm confused because I thought I generated in, oh, yeah, so the way I do it is I generate it this way because the magic mapping scroll is not public. Alright, so what we can do is I'm going to make it public and then just call it here. MMS. What's MMS? Oh, just magic mapping scroll. Okay, so what we can do is just call it here. We'll say magic mapping scroll. And now instead of index, we just need location XY. Lock X and lock Y. And then all this goes away. Cheat to help test with mapping. Alright, does that check? It does not. Oh, I got rid of the lock line. Why did I do that? There. That was dumb. And put the comment back in. Alright. Oh, okay. Oh, wait. Oh, okay. Okay. Let XY equal this. Can I do this? And then this. Expected struct fetch found tuple. Now I don't remember what it looked like. I thought all I did was do let lock equal. Let's try this and then just return lock.x and lock.y. Can I do that? Okay, it likes that. I don't know what the difference is, but there it is. And now we drop the mutable borrow here at the end of this let, and so we can use it again here. Okay. So I think we're back to parity. We just need to copy this and put it in our JSON file. I guess we put it right over here. And then we're going to have to shift everything in. Yeah, or shift everything over anyway. Like that. Oops, I didn't want to do that. I want to shift it twice, not shift 2 blocks. Okay. Oh, and then we have this here. So this needs a comma. Like that. And then the dagger goes over. Okay. Okay, so that built. Let's give it a quick run just to make sure we didn't break anything serious. Oh, and I should be able to remove, sorry. I should be able to remove all the other spawner stuff. Oh, not bear traps. Right, all we did was add shield and dagger. Okay. Here's the tower shield. That's a regular shield. There's the longsword, and there's the dagger. Rations. Rations we don't have yet, or we do? Rations right there. Okay, so we don't need rations. And then we have the monster spawner. Okay, so let's remove these now from... We have dagger, shield, longsword, tower shield, rations. So this should still build. Okay. I'm going to console log this. RLTK console log. I think spawn.1 is the name of the entity. Let's find out. Format. Spawned. Like this. .1. And then we'll be able to see it in our console here when we run it. So let me generate a new WASM file here and refresh. I need to turn that off again. The map generation, because it just takes so long. I forget what it was called now. There it is. Show map gen visualizer. It's in lib. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna rebuild that. Because we ended up a very small game, and I don't see anything logged here. I was expecting to see something spawn, but it looks like maybe nothing spawned at all. I do see some doors. But doors get spawned outside. Oh, there's a trap there. Oh, yeah, that's right. The traps are also spawned outside of the new system we have. No, it still doesn't show any spawns. I'm concerned now. Let me refresh. There's nothing here. And we have extra spaces. We can clean those up. We are, that's spawning, but that's because I'm spawning it directly. I was expecting to see some of this. So I'm now very concerned. Let's take a look at the code in spawner RS and see what I broke. So right here, I'm going to pull this out. And I'll say trying to spawn that. And just see if spawn entity is being called at all. Because if not, then I seriously broke something. Wow, it takes 13 seconds to build this thing. Okay, trying to spawn bear trap, none bear trap, rations. There we go, rations. Rations and health potion. So those should have called the spawn code. Right? A spawn named item. Please go to that definition. Okay. Right, it's in the raw master. So it should find it here. At position. Oh, and now it jumps there. Okay. Renderable. Name. Okay, so we're going to see, there's the key. We're going to see here, if raw item contains key, else RLTK console log could format could not find in map key. Like that. Okay. Let's regenerate that and see what happens. "13 seconds later. Okay, refresh. Could not find health potion in map. Could not find goblin in map. That goblin makes sense. But could not find rations in map. Okay, so we're gonna have to print out what is in the map. It's in source raw master. There we go. So what is in the map? RLTK console log format inserted into map. Item name. Hopefully that's not a borrow issue. Good. Okay, so let's build that and see what this says. I wish it took less than 13 seconds. Page layout may be unexpected due to quirks mode. Okay. One more documents in this page is in quirks mode. How can I tell what's in quirks mode? Yeah, I know it's that document. But tell me what's wrong with my... Okay, I'm not going to worry about it. I got more important things to do here. Alright, so refresh. And we're going to see inserted health potion, magic missile, fireball, confusion, magic mapping. There's rations right there. Into map. Could not find rations in map. But it's right here. Okay, so we got to debug this. We've got a hash map. The hash map maps a string to a usize. The only thing I can think of is maybe the item index is... This takes a reference to a raw master, which has the raws and the item index for it. Why is this failing? Okay, so I'm going to just dump the whole thing. RLTK, console, log, format, bang, debug output of RAWs dot item index, right? That's the hash map. So let's dump the whole thing and see what this looks like. Nope, I misspelled it. There we go. Regenerate the WASM and see what's going on here. And refresh. Oh, see, yeah. So the map is empty. So we have a bug somewhere where we're inserting something into a map and then not using the right map. So where do we set that? It's a static ref to RAWs. And we do a load. Oh, it's in the mod, right? Yeah, RAWs mod. Yeah, here's lazy static, pub static ref RAWs, and it's got the mutex there. This generates, oh, wait a minute. What's going on here? So where does this get used? Nowhere? Oh, in spawner, it grabs it here. raws.lock.unwrap.load decoder. Okay, so it gets loaded here. It gets, we call load raws, raw data is RLTK embedding, embed this resource. We then convert it to UTF-8. We deserialize it into the decoder, and then we should call load on that, which inserts all of our items. And we do see them inserting. But then when we try to spawn the bear trap, we look at the thing that's passed in, and it's not what we were expecting. So maybe spawn named. This is saying raws.lock.unwrap. So it should be the same one. How is the map empty at this point? Because it should be the same one as up here. The one we just loaded. So, where are we calling load again? It's in rawsmod.rs. Okay. So we should be able to say at this point, RLTK console log format loaded raws data and show all of it. So raws dot lock unwrap and then an index item index. No, it doesn't like that. Why doesn't it like that? That's a private field. Okay, that's easy fix. It is now a public field. Okay, so we should be able to dump this out now in 14 seconds. Okay, so the loaded RAWs data, and we can see confusion, health, tower shield, magic mapping. Okay, so they're all there. But when we try to use it here, it's empty. Why? So let's get rid of that, and then we'll look at the spawner code. Is there a... There's just one, right? I mean, the only thing I can think of is that here's a lazy static for this guy, right? So there is a static somewhere which has the data. And I'm thinking, well, could there possibly be two copies of this thing? I want spawner here. And we don't actually reference raw spawn named item. Oh, it's not in... Oh, I pulled up the wrong file. Spawner. Raws. Okay, so here we should be able to see the whole thing. Raws contains in spawn. Raws contains this. I'm going to say raws lock unwrap item index. Okay, let's generate that. And we'll see where it breaks down. Yeah, so the very first thing says RAWs contains nothing. So after we load the RAWs data, we should be able to print it out immediately. What do we load it again? I keep forgetting. In rawsmod.rs, and that gets called from where? Load raws, which is in main. Yes, raws load raws. So here I should be able to take a look at it, right? Log format loaded as debug, and then we'll say raws lock unwrap item index. And I'm going to get rid of all these other things, could not find and stuff. Oh, that's in raw master. And in spawner, raws contains, we know that's all empty, so we don't care. Oh, could not find it in this scope. So do I have to say use raws? Raws? Yep, okay. And then refresh. Okay, this says loaded as. And now we have to go to the next step where we're going to look at the spawn code. Somewhere along the line we lose track of the item data. RLTK console log format. RAWs contains debug. Yeah, we were here before, weren't we? RAWs lock, unwrap, and item index. All right, and then if that one fails, then there's a couple of steps in between loading and spawning. Oh. I forget that sometimes when you do that, it blocks. Okay, refresh. Yeah, and now RAWs contains nothing. Okay, so what's erasing the RAWs? So we go in here, we generate the magic mapping scroll, we call the main loop. The main loop is in charge of generating the map. Oh no, the generate world map is here. And after we, oh wow, this jump to definition thing is slow, isn't it? All right. There it goes. So we build a map. This is the map gen history, which we're ignoring for now. We set the player. I don't see anything that would overwrite RAWs. Remember, here's spawn entities, which goes through this and calls spawn entity, which goes through this, and that's where RAWs contains nothing anymore. Okay, so I think we have a trace we can work our way through. At this point, we should still have the RAWs data. So let's find out. Before, and this will be after, and it should be the same. Wish there were an easier way to do this. I wonder if cargo run would be faster than this, but let's find out. We have a before and we have an after, and oh, see, it still contains the right stuff, but this RAWs does not. It's like it's pulling a different version of a different version of this allegedly static thing. Just a bubble, hello. We are trying to debug why we have multiple copies of RAWs, even though there's a singular static ref to RAWs here. When we load the RAWs data, it shows up fine. When we look at it in main, it shows up fine. But when we try to actually spawn something, it fails. So let's go back to generate world map and take a look in here. Actually, let's copy that line and just print it right at the beginning here. We're just going to say generate world map, and then oh right, I did a suspend. Let's not do a suspend. Okay, there we go. And see what this looks like. So yeah, so as soon as we call generate world map, RAWs is empty. So what's the difference? What's going on? Here we're seeing this RAWs. Maybe there's a maybe because it's not part of because it's in a separate submodule, right? So maybe it's got its own copy of raws, right? So as soon as we call into here, it's gone. We no longer have this raws thing. And we have access to a raws thing, but it must be a different one. Can I do that? Will that make a difference? And now I have 89 errors. Just by doing that one change, we have 89. Oh, because I forgot to, okay. Okay, it didn't complain. Is that even going to make a difference, though? If that changes this, then it's going to change my understanding of how the lazy static stuff works. Okay, refresh. No, that didn't change a thing. GWM is still empty. Huh. Okay, let's do some Googling. Rust, lazy, static. Using this macro, it's possible to have a static that requires code to be executed at runtime in order to be initialized. This includes anything requiring heap allocations. Yes. For a given static ref, macro generates a unique type that implements deref type and stores it in static with name. Attributes end up attaching to this type. On first deref, expert gets evaluated and stored internally, such that all further derefs can return a reference to the same object. Note that this can lead to deadlocks if you have multiple lazy statics that depend on each other. Okay. The deref implementation uses a hidden static variable that's guarded by an atomic check on each access. There's nothing in here about multiple copies per file if you have, oops, where was I looking? If you have, but it's pretty clear, right? Hello, Shrishak, how are you? Yeah, I'm still making game, I'm debugging game right now. I'm trying to figure out why when we call from main into our tutorial library, our lazy static no longer appears. Disappears? I don't know. One cell, a lazy static without macros, Rust lazy static custom struct intec, global uninitialized statics. I wonder maybe if I move it into, is lazy static WASM friendly? I would hope so. I would hope so. I mean, it works from the point of view of one module, right? We're able to load it in the raws module. If we look here in source, we have raws, which loads it. And then in main, we can see it. But when we're in tutorial, it's empty. And yeah, I mean, this should all work with WASM because this tutorial works both with WASM and, but we'll try it. Let's try it here. Cargo run, oops. Get in the right direction here. Cargo run. Yeah, same error. So that was a good thought, though, because that easily could have been the issue, which would have been really annoying. But yeah, so we're seeing that when we call into tutorial, the lazy static disappears. Or is it different lazy static? I bet you if I just called load there, oops. I mean, we can try calling load from there and see what happens. Go into source main and then source. Oh no, what was it? Game state and generate world map. Yeah, and then so in main, if we go to here, raws, load raws. Oh, we don't want to generate. That thing. We don't want generate world map to load it each time, but we can use it as a debugging thing and see what happens. Oops. Copy, paste, and see what happens. Let's build that. Trishak says, I started using Z. It's so much better, Z oxide. Yeah, we can take a look at that. What is that? Oops. Mini Z oxide? Deflate compression. No, that doesn't look like it. I must be Oh, alternative to CD. Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. Z oxide is a smarter CD command. All right. Well, I'll take a look at that offline. I'm always happy to update my... Yeah, okay, so now it's working, right? We're loading it here, but we're also loading it here, and then we're going to load it every time we switch a level, because I'm calling it now when we generate world map. And we shouldn't have to do this. We shouldn't have to do this. I'm trying to think of what other function we could call inside. I mean, this is clearly something I just don't understand about how lazy static works, in that it doesn't work across. Kafka says, be warned, once you go Z, auto jump, or similar, there's hardly a going back. Yeah, I know. I mean, I'm familiar with that phenomenon where you get used to a tool, and then when you go to a system that doesn't have that tool, suddenly you're struggling. Yep. All right, so I'm going to remove this. I'm going to remove this. I'm going to remove this, and we're just going to have to live with loading every single time. Or I can just create something in game state which loads raws. Which we call raws. What was it? It was in generate world map. Yeah, raws load raws. Okay. Pub. There we go. And now I can just do this. Maybe after all the inserts? I don't know, where's a good spot to put it? Game state, load raws. And that calls raws load raws. And then we don't need to put it here. And we can see if this works. 2 warnings. Probably something I'm not using. Alright, and then I'll refresh this and see if it works. Oh, main doesn't have raws now. Okay. Okay, so that worked. If I say We don't need that. We don't need this anymore. And now in the spawn, we don't need to print out what RAWs contains. So get rid of that. That should all check. This is kind of a very poor workaround because what if there's other parts that need RAWs? Well, I don't want to have to load it for each submodule. Alright, what are we not using here? Oh, game state no longer uses that. Okay. That. Okay. So now we should be able to spawn entities. But I'm like I said, this is just a hack workaround until we can, until I can learn why lazy static doesn't work across modules. We should get rid of those things too. Begin. Oh, that's a lousy map. Let's try again. Okay, so now it was able to spawn this magic missile scroll, which is great. It spawned a goblin. Well, goblin's outside of the hole. There. Got the goblin caught on a wall. Oh. I'm almost dead. Okay. Alright, but magic missile scroll spawned. So that means that the spawning is working again. But it shouldn't be this way. We got to figure out why lazy static is not working properly. And there's the downstairs, and we should be able to spawn. Yep, so it was able to spawn rations and health potions. Okay. I think we're good. But it is bad that... Oh, let me clean these up. I don't like the spaces at the end. RAWs spawns. So search for space $. Got that. Okay, those are cleaned up. I turned that to false, and now we're loading the RAWs data from here. Unfortunately, I fixed the cheat stuff. Oh, let me get rid of this line too. I don't want that. Get rid of that. And then where's the other line where we master? Yeah, here it is. Inserted. There we go. Don't want that. Just a Bubble asks, would you say that this is an instructive tutorial? Yes, it is. I already knew a little bit of Rust before coming to it, but I've definitely learned a lot more Rust and a lot more of the concepts behind entity component systems, which was kind of my intent too, because I do want to write a roguelike in Rust eventually on my own, and hopefully be able to do that on stream as well. So yes. Zishan says, hi, what would one consider Rust for game dev as compared to Unity Godot? I've never used Unity or Godot, so I can't help you there, unfortunately. Sorry. I did play around with Unity a few years ago. Went through a little tutorial of making a spaceship shmup, but I didn't really get into that, unfortunately. I wanted to use Rust to make a roguelike because I wanted to learn Rust, and I like roguelikes. So, sorry, I can't answer your question properly. All right, so this should now have a clean console. Let's refresh. And it failed. That's not good. There's an infinite loop somewhere. Let's find out what it is. No, it works fine. have the shield. I equip the shield. Open the door. Okay, this is working fine. Why is this not working? Stop. Refresh. Uh-oh. What did I break? I can try restarting the basic HTTP server, I guess. Let me kill that. And restart this guy. And do localhost 4000. Oh, okay. So it was just being dumb. Okay. Yep. Okay. So we're good, and the console's clean. Oh, that's kind of annoying. That moves up and down slightly as I use the arrow keys. Oops. And now I'm typing down there. Okay. There we go. Good. I think we're good. I think we're ready to check this in. Git add. Oh, status. Git add. Raws and source. Git commit. Should move more items into JSON file and work around lazy static raws bug. It's not a bug, right? It's a misunderstanding. Sure, let's go with misunderstanding. All right, so we've gotten this stuff done. Spawning items from the raws. We've done that. We moved everything over. Add the remaining items. There's 2 new fields here, shield and weapon. Oh, we never added those, did we? Oops. So let's do this, and then we'll move on to the monster. So there's 2 new fields here, shield and weapon. We need to expand our item structs to handle them. So we have item, and it's going to take a pub weapon, option weapon, and a shield, which is a shield, and then we have to add a weapon and a shield, pub struct weapon. I was so caught up on that raws issue that I totally forgot about the fact that we added new stuff. Pub struct shield, and then pub defense bonus, like that. And then we have to, in raw master, we have to actually create them. Where do we put those? I guess we put it right here. If it's some weapon, slot is the equipment slot, melee, and it is a melee power bonus, power, and it's going to be weapon dot power bonus. Where do we set those though? And then shield is going to be similar. Right? And it's equipable, and it's a shield. I keep mistyping that. And then defense. It's going to be shield defense bonus. Right? And you can now delete these items from spawner.rs as well. They still spawn in game as before. Alright. But somewhere these get set, right? Item template.weapon. Oh, is that where how the JSON gets? raws items raw item index key. I wonder, I wish I understood a little bit more about what was going on there. Was it just inserting these things here? Yeah, there's some connection I'm missing here. Because the raw master just has the item index. And raws.raws items is a vec of items. So somewhere we're creating the weapon and shield items. And I'm missing where that's happening. That's what I'm stuck on right now, is where does that occur? This is the spawn code. Here's where we decode it. Oh, is it all done right here? Maybe it's all done right here, inserted JSON from string. It just sets it up. Okay. I'll go along with that. Alright, so we've done all this, we've done all this. Oops. And now we're going to add monsters. Okay. So we're going to delete the these items, which are the dagger and the longsword and whatnot. Oops. Further check. Nope. So power bonus doesn't exist. Did I mistype it? Yes, power bonus should be like that. That was an A instead of an O. It was hard to see. Oh, it's not melee power bonus, it's defense bonus. Right? Yeah, defense bonus. Okay. Copy paste error. It doesn't have defense? Really? Oh, it is called power there. Huh. Okay. Sure. Okay, so that checks. So, source tutorial spawner. Now we don't need the dagger. Shield, longsword, or tower shield. Right? That was something we meant to clean up last time. Okay, we're good. Status, git add source, git commit weapon and shield cleanup. Okay, so now we'll do the monsters. So we'll add a new array to spawns.json to handle the monsters. Okay, I'm going to copy paste this code. That's raws. So we have an items array, and we're going to add a mobs array now. And I hit F1 again. Escape. Oop. Uh-oh. I am in a weird state with Vim here. I can't hit Control C, I can't hit Control C. This is weird. Escape doesn't work. This is weird. I'm not used to this. Arrow keys don't work. What the hell did I do? Let's see, what did I do? Terminal bork after invoking Vim with XRs. How do I exit Vim? No, 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 no. Escape not working. Here we go. Oh. No, stuck in insert mode. Yeah, this is similar, but it's 10 years ago. Yeah, no, that's not that. I don't know what's going on here. I've never seen this. All right, let's try again. And this time I'm gonna, you know what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna cat greater than that, this, there. And now it's down here, and we should just be able to rearrange things. Like that. And there should be a comma here. Okay, that's better, that works. I don't know what happened. You'll notice we're fixing a minor issue from before. Orcs and goblins are no longer identical in stats. Otherwise, this should make sense. The stats we set in spawner.rs are instead set in the JSON file. We'll need to create a new file, mob structs. Okay. So let's save that. Source, raws, mob structs. User-d. Deserialize and use super renderable. Okay. And then this is pub struct mob. And then pub struct mob stats. Okay, we'll also modify raws. We'll move it to mod.rs since it's shared with other modules and edit it. Oh, okay. Item structs, we're going to take raws out of here and move it into mod.rs. Okay? So grab this, go down here, and put that there. Just a Bubble says it's always weird to see structs defined under where they're being used. I'm so used to C. Oh, yeah. So yeah, Rust will make the first pass and get all the symbols, and then make the second pass. But you're right. In C, everything has to be defined before it's actually referenced, and that could end up with some weird code, like you have to define functions before you use them, because if function A calls function B and function B calls function A, somewhere you have to define function B before function A also. So like if you're doing something in C, you have to have, you know, int A, and then if that calls B, if something B, right? And then int B if something call A, right? A can't call B unless it knows about B, so somewhere above you have to say int B, just to tell the C compiler that B exists as a function. So it makes it a little awkward. Whereas within Rust, you can reference mob stats here, even though the compiler hasn't seen any symbol called mob stats yet. It just waits until it finishes the whole thing and then says, oh yeah, there's mob stats. Let me put that in there. All right, so we moved raws into mod from here, and it looks like we also have to put pub mobs, back mob there, right? And then we'll need to modify raw master to add an empty mobs list to its constructor. Okay. So let's save that. Save that. We'll go into raw master. you know what I'm going to do? Default, and then somewhere we're going to have to go into raws and derive defaults. Mod. Like that. And that should do the trick. That way I don't have to remember each one. Oops. No raws in... uh-oh. Oh, it's not in item structs anymore. It's right here. We could have done that from the beginning. Did I leave out... Oh, yes. So I have to add the certi thing here, right? Now item is not found in this scope. Oh, okay. So now I have to say use item structs. Like that. Mod item structs. Oh, still no. Mob doesn't exist. Did I call it mobs with an S? No, mob with the... Maybe I called it mobs with an S by accident. Mob. Oh, it's not in my files yet. Mob structs. No, it says mob. Okay. Mob structs. I have to include that. Just a bubble says need to mod structs. Okay. I think we both thought of that at the same exact time. All right, so we're down to 3 warnings. That's good. We'll need to modify that. Yeah, so I did that. We'll also need to modify raw master to index our mobs. Okay. Let's go to raw master. And we need to index mobs. Pub. Oh, the reason that was pub was because I was displaying it. Okay, mob index hash map string and usize. And we'll need to create that. If this is default and this is default, can I just do the whole thing default? Will this work? Should. What broke? Oh, I forgot a closing brace. There we go. Got an extra one. Yeah, it worked. Okay. So that way I don't have to keep extending this thing with all default stuff. All right. Item index is item index. Okay, so now we have to do the same, these 3 lines for the mobs. Mob. Self raws mobs. Iter enumerate. And then this becomes mob index. And this becomes mob name. We're going to want to build a spawn named mob function, but first let's create some helpers so we're sharing functionality with spawn named item. Avoid repeating ourselves. First is pretty straightforward. So spawn position. When we add more spawn type entries, this function will necessarily expand to include them. So it's great that it's a function. We can replace the same code in spawn named item with a single call. Okay, so we're just basically pulling this out here. And putting it down here and calling it spawn position. We do that, and then we just return EB. Right? And then up where we just pulled it out, we just say let EB equals spawn position. Oh. This is saying new entity. Okay, and then we just say EB equals spawn position pause EB. Can we combine these? Right? And actually I have to make it a mod. That should work. Okay. And then get renderable components. So we're going to pull this part out. Well, let's check this, make sure that works. Make sure I didn't break anything. Okay. That checks. So we'll pull these lines out. This is interesting. Super item structs renderable. Create components renderable. Oh, because we have two different kinds of renderables. Now we have to actually say what they are. Interesting. Okay. So let's pull this out and put that down here. And fn get renderable component. Renderable is a super item structs renderable, which returns a crate components renderable. And then we just return crate components renderable. So we're not doing this part. We're just creating the crate components renderable like this. And then just returning that. But then we need to call it. Oh, I took out the if let sum. Oops. If let sum renderable item template renderable EB equals EB with get renderable component. Okay. Let's see if this checks. Nope. Oh, this has to be a separate renderable. Create components. Oh, there's a paren there. Okay. Yep, just a bubble. Thank you. Okay, so that checks. We still have 3 warnings, but we'll clean those up later, I guess. All right, so with that in mind, we can go ahead and make spawn named mob. So this is very similar to a spawn item. Right, we're going to do the we're going to grab the mob from the mob index instead of the item from the item index, right? We'll spawn the position. We'll spawn the renderable. And then we have to, then the name is the same. We add a monster, whether or not it blocks a tile, and then we add the combat stats based on the combat stats we pulled out. Okay, let's do that. I'm going to put it up here. Key is a stir and pause is a spawn position, right? Oh, spawn type. And it returns an option entity. Okay. If Ross mob index contains key like that. We get the template that way. We can say let mod eb equals spawn position of pause and new entity. Let's put that there. And then if let sum renderable, it's the same exact code except it's a mob template instead of an item template. And then we get the name. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to look up here. These are the same, except this is going to change to monster. Come on. Like that. There we go. Instead of item, it's a monster. And then blocks tile, if mob template blocks tile, eb equals eb with blocks tile. Like that. And then the combat stats. And it's max HP, mob template stats max HP. It's interesting that this now, these are numbers, right? We don't have to do this string to I32 business. Oh, power. And then defense, mob template stats defense. Close, semicolon. EB equals EB with view shed and the range is going to be from the mob template vision range. And then finally dirty is true. That way we regenerate the view shed and then return some EB build. Build. There we go. And then otherwise return none. Done. Something's off by 1 here. Oh, I shifted in by 1. How did that happen? Okay. Let's save that. Cargo check. This fails. Oh, this should be mob template. Forgot that. Oh, thanks, Just a Bubble. Sorry, I'm focused on the screen and not on the chat. But yes, you caught that before I did. Thank you. And then template is misspelled down here. Mob template, mob template. Okay, hopefully I got those all spelled correctly. Nope. Blocks tile. Okay. Oh, I put a capital T on there. Okay. Oh, I don't have it in my Git files yet. Source raws mob structs. Blocks tile. It should be a lowercase t. Okay. There we go. Okay, so now all the warnings are gone too. That's good news. DesDV, thank you for the follow. So there's really nothing we haven't already covered in this function. We simply apply a renderable, position, and name using the same code as before, and checks blocks tile to see if we should add a blocks tile component. We copy the stats into combat stats. And we also set up a view shed component with a vision range. Before we update spawner, let's introduce a master spawning method, spawn named entity. The reasoning behind this is that the spawn system doesn't actually know or care if an entity is an item, a mob, or anything else. Rather than push a lot of if checks into it, we'll just provide a single interface. So I'm guessing this goes in our raw master. We have spawn named mob and spawn named item, so we should have a pub fun spawn named entity. And returns an option entity. And all we do is call, say, if raws item index contains key, then we're going to return spawn named item raws new entity key pause. I hesitated there because I think I just want to do the implicit returns here. Otherwise we do a spawn named mob. Oh, this is how this ended up being shifted over. Okay. And then just else none. Like that. And then these don't need to be pub anymore, because we shouldn't be calling them from outside anymore. Now in spawner RS, instead of spawn named item, we call spawn. Oh, I hit escape instead of return. This should be spawn named entity. All right, all of that stays the same, and then if it is sum, return. Okay. We can also go ahead and delete the references to orcs, goblins, and monsters. Okay, let's do that. We get rid of orc and goblin and monster. And this should still just check. No, we got 3 errors. Doesn't like this. Expected expression. Oh, else if raws item index, mob index contains key. So this is saying that if an item and a monster have the same name, then we're going to spawn items and we'll never spawn the monster. We do have 4 warnings though. I wonder what the warnings are. Let's go check out the warnings. Oh, spawner no longer needs a font char type. Okay. And spawn named mob is never used. Oh, I forgot to. That was dumb. Source raw master. This should be spawn named mob. There we go. And then in spawner, we don't use font char type anymore. And that should clean up all those. Well, hopefully it did. I can't tell now. Let's run a cargo check here. Good. We'll do Clippy. Clippy might see a couple of things. Because then I'm going to check this in. Oh, good. Cargo format. Haven't run that in a while, but it normally happens on save, so that's okay. And then git status. Git add raws and source, converted mobs over to new JSON spawner. And still in the back of my mind is why that lazy static doesn't work. All right, so the last thing to convert is the doors and traps. These have been left separate because they aren't really the same as other types. They're what I call props, level features. You can't pick them up, but they are an integral part of the level. So in spawns.json, we'll go ahead and define some props. All right. Raws, right? There we go. Copy that in, and then we have to edit it to move it into place. Here we'll put a comma, and here we'll put that there, and then this gets shifted over, and we're good. So we have a door and a bear trap. The problem with props is they can be really quite varied. So we end up with a lot of optional stuff in the definition. I'd rather have a complex definition on the Rust side than on the JSON side to reduce the sheer volume of typing when we have a lot of props. So we wind up making something reasonably expressive in JSON and do a lot of work to make it function in Rust. Okay, we'll make a new file, props structs, and put our serialization classes into it. Use deserialize. Just a bubble says, can I ask what you're using to change the indentation of whole blocks? Sure. So so in Vim, if you have a bunch of lines that are not separated by a blank line, you can use the curly brace to skip up and down like that. Right? So I'm doing up curly brace, and down curly brace, down curly brace. So that's the movement part of it. And then there's the this key here will tell Vim to shift to the right, indent to the right, and then this key will tell Vim to shift to the left. So if I say if I hit greater than, right, you can't see it now. You can actually see it down here. There's a greater than sign, and what I just typed, and then I'll turn right curly brace, and it shifts over that whole up to the first blank line. And you can do it by numbers too. If I say 2 greater than shift, it'll take 2 blocks over. 2 blocks, 1 over. Does that make sense? Use super renderable, use standard collections, hash map, and then derive, deserialize, and debug. Yeah, one of the things, you're welcome, Justable, but one of the things I like about watching other people use Vim is that they have I see these wild shortcuts that would never have occurred to me. So yeah, and that's one of the reasons I stole ToggleBit's setup, and I tweaked it for myself, but it's mostly his. Because it has a bunch of neat little things in there. Like I can hit Control D, in my version of it, I can Control D and it'll save and run cargo check, and generate the quick fix list and all that kind of stuff, which would never have occurred to me to do. Renderable, RENDER. Option bool. Justable says, I didn't steal ToggleBit's setup, but I yoinked some functions and ideas from it. Yeah, yep. Actually, that's the smarter way to do it, because then now you know exactly how everything's working under the covers, and whereas I don't. I just pulled it in and I have no idea how it works, but it works. So, it's a blocks tile, and then blocks visibility, and then door open. Like, he doesn't have the arrow keys set up, and I'm not used to that. Sometimes I'll try to move with the arrow keys. Right now I'm hitting arrows and it's not doing anything. But I'm fine just using HJKL, so... But it still surprises me every time I go for the arrow keys. And I don't know where he turned that off and why. And then we'll derive this guy again for... entry trigger. Right, and then we'll have to tell RAWs mod RS to use. Oh, so now they tell us this. Okay. Mod. There it is. Mod props structs, and then use. I think that's the first time they asked us to do that. All right, so we have 3 warnings because we're not using those things, and now we'll use them down here. We'll say pub props, vec prop. So that takes us to rawmaster RS, where we need to extend the constructor and reader to include the new types. No, we don't. I did default. Haha. Kafka says it's a baddish habit to move to the arrow keys when there's HJKL closer. Yeah. But if I'm on the mouse, if I'm using the mouse, which I don't have a mouse on my laptop, but if I'm using the mouse, I'm moving my hand over, it's actually shorter distance to hit the arrow keys than HJKL. So, but mostly I'm using HJKL, so it doesn't catch me out that often. All right, so we did this already, and now we just need to add this in rawmaster. These lines here. And these are props. Oops. Props. And props. And props. Oh, prop index, singular. Okay. And then we have to create a spawn name prop. Oh, did I forget to... Oh, yeah, I did forget to... Here it is. Prop. Index. There. Okay, so now down here in spawn... Here it is. So we'll just put this here. Instead of mob index, we change it to prop index. Spawn name prop. And we'll create a spawn name prop. We'll put it underneath spawn name mob. Here we go. We can just actually copy and paste this and just rename it like that. Okay. What does this function look like? It's a baddish habit to use the mouse. Sure. See, Just a Bubble says it should be at the top of no.lua.vim file in the root of config if you're using nvim. Yeah, okay. I'll take a quick look. VimRC. I actually have it soft linked to the no.lua. Yeah, okay, yeah. No remap, up, down, left, right to nops. Up, down, left, up, and right. Why is up in here twice? That's weird. Now I'm curious if it's in ToggleByte, ToggleBit's ToggleByte thing. Let's go take a quick look. Yeah, he's got it in there twice. For historical reasons. Okay. I'll just comment it out then. There we go. All right, so this is spawn name prop. Let's get this going. So the prop template works the same. I'm going to do this and grab stuff here. Oh, we shouldn't have to check this anymore, right? Because we're already checking it in spawn name entity. We already checked to see if it contains the key, so we should assume it does. All right. Oh, it doesn't take a position though. I thought props would have positions. All right, so that's props. And then, oh, we do have spawn position. Okay, I was just misreading that. Let mut eb equals spawn position pos and new entity. Okay, and then we do the renderable. Mob changes to prop. Oh, and then I hit F1 again. Okay, and then we're going to do hidden, blocks tile, blocks visible. So we need one for each one of these guys. If let some hidden is this, and then if hidden. Because hidden could be true or false, and we have to destructure it first. I was thinking we could do like if prop template hidden. Maybe we can say okay. Is true. No, we can't do that. Okay, we'll just do if let some hidden. It just seems awkward. If hidden eb equals eb with hidden. Right? It just seems awkward to do it this way. Maybe Clippy will have some good ideas. And we have to do it for blocks tile, blocks visibility, and door open, and entry trigger, but entry trigger is more complex. All right, so this is blocks tile. This is blocks tile. This is blocks tile. This is blocks tile. Wow. Option implements. Oh, okay. You can say if some true equals template hidden. Ah, I like that. Like this? Yeah, I like that. If this works, then this is great. Oh, this is not hidden anymore. This is blocks visibility. Without the let. And double equals, right? Or otherwise you'd create a new variable called true. Yeah, it might not let us do that. Okay, we don't want to change the renderable. This one still needs the let. Okay. And then, so we can just say here, if let some true is equal to prop template door open, and stop hitting F1. So this is with door open. Oh, wait. This one we actually want to grab it because it could be true or false. So that one's slightly different. Okay, that's good. And then we have entry trigger. Right? And this has an ampersand in front of it. Why? Okay, we'll find out when we try to compile it. I want to learn. So we say EB is EB entry trigger. And then for effect in entry trigger effects iter match effect dot zero as stir damage. What is this? This doesn't, okay. EB with inflicts damage. Oh, this is for the trap. That's right. Damage effect. Oh, now we have stir to, yeah, stir to R32 effect dot one. That's the damage one. Kafka says unwrap or default. Does this default to true or default to false rather? So you're saying like this. And then like that. So if it defaults to false, then we can just do that. All right, I'm going to leave this one like this, but I think I'd prefer to switch it back because this, I think, reads clearer. When I'm ready to do a cargo check, we'll take a look to see if that works. Single activation, and that gets us an EB with single activation. And then we need a default case here of nothing. And like that, and then we return some EB build. Otherwise, we return none. That's the whole thing. So let's do a check. Dusty Bubble says default is false. Doc, say so. Oh, this has to be a let. All right. Okay. No fields blocks visibility. BISIBILITY. EB build. Okay, so now here's where why we have to do the reference. Because otherwise we're moving data from entry trigger.0 into here. And we don't have this borrows as mute, so we need to grab a reference for it. Okay, this is how I learn. All right, so both of these ways work. I think I prefer the sum true because then I think it reads better. And I have to do double equals. There we go. Okay, so we'll go with that. And then we have to add this. Oh, didn't I already do that? Yeah, I already did spawn name prop. Okay. And finally, we can go to spawner.rs and remove the door and bear trap functions. Let's do that. So that removes this whole thing. RLTK console log format warning. We don't know how to spawn this. Okay. We still have the player, and I'm going to leave magic mapping scroll in there. I don't think we use room table anymore now, right? That was the only... Oh no! Spawn region still uses room table. Huh. Okay, so we still need a room table. but we'll pull out the door, we'll pull out the bear trap. And I think that's all we need to pull out, right? Let's see if this checks. Good. If you cargo run now, you'll see doors and traps working as before. We do a ton of work and we leave everything exactly the same. I wish they had done like test driven, or at least partially test driven, so we could run some tests and make sure things worked, but I guess we'll just have to play the game. Okay, so there's a door. Does the door open? It does. Let's step on a trap and see if we get damaged. Oh, there was a trap. This should entry trigger damage. Oh, we don't know how to spawn none. We got that 3 times. Okay, and we got damaged. There was no damage message though. That's surprising. Kafka says it's easy fix. You just put none in your code. Sure. But I'd love to know why we're trying to spawn a none. Okay, I just stepped on that trap. Well fed. Okay, so things are kind of working. It's just that we should be getting error messages when, or not error messages. We should be getting messages when we step on a bear trap. Was that part of code that I deleted? No. Here's the bear trap. Inflicts damage. Should be... I mean, we are getting inflicted with damage. It's just not reporting it over here. Components, inventory system, trigger system. So it should be in here. Oops. Yeah, log entries, push. This should say bear trap triggers. We're hitting this up for damage. Oh, I wonder if there's an issue with the name. Oh, maybe I left the name out. Did I miss that line? Yes, I missed this line. Okay. Okay. So if it doesn't have a name, we can't report the trigger. Raw master. Spawn named item, spawn named mob, spawn named prop. So it's right after renderable. We'll just copy paste that line in there. There we go. You use too much unsafe in your app seg faults? That's well, I've never played with unsafe, and I know I've watched John Jinxit's videos on that, on unsafe code, and how to comment it properly and determine whether or not unsafe is actually safe. Because unsafe doesn't mean it's unsafe code, it just means that the compiler can't determine whether it's safe. Okay, let's regenerate the WASM, and then I think we're going to call it a stream if this all works. I want to step on a bear trap and see the message. Which shouldn't take too long. Usually bear traps are... There we go. Okay, bear trap triggers. Okay, good. So that works. Okay, what does Clippy say? Clippy's happy. Git add source. Oh, add raws. Git commit. Moved traps and doors over to new JSON spawning system. And we're going to push this up. Hit refresh. Yeah, so we did some good work today. Let's find out. Oh, this is still running. Oops. Is there anybody doing Rust? Togglebit. Oh, Togglebit's up. Let's go to Togglebit. He's been streaming for an hour. Let's see how he's doing. Kafka says, unfortunately, my hands are forced by Ash. I don't know who Ash is, but maybe I'll have a word with him. Send me his contact info. All right. I will call this stream then and wrap things up. And I will see you tomorrow with a little more Rust roguelike stuff. We just finished this chapter. So the next chapter we're going to be working on is data-driven spawn tables, which should be very interesting. Oh, Ash is a Vulkan framework on Rust. Okay. I'm not familiar with that. But good luck, Kafka. I hope you solve your panics, and hopefully I'll see you tomorrow. All right, thanks everyone for hanging out with me, and let's go raid Togglebit. I gotta hit refresh here before I can do the raid. There we go. Okay. Take care, everyone. You have a good day too, Just a Bubble.